If you want news and rumors that appeal, welcome to the Dusty Wheel.
Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel. Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel. I'm your host, the Innkeeper, and this is our live call and talk show all about the Wheel of Time. We're back on a Friday afternoon because we're here to talk all about Wheel of Time on Amazon Prime's news drop that we believe is coming here imminently. And to do that with me, I have two guests. Let me welcome to the show. Welcome Daniel, Greene, and Collin of Randland TV Podcast. How are you both doing?
How's it going?
You're like, come on. Are you pumped? We got like 6 minutes to go here. Before we think that the news is dropping. For those of you that are kind of curious, why are we doing this right now? Why do we think there's news? Then you may not have been following us or following Wheel of Time on Amazon Prime on Twitter. So let's throw a little tweet of why this happened on Tuesday, I believe, is when this first tweet went out. I think Rebecca from Reading the Pattern asked, are we going to get some announcement on Wednesday? And they said, tomorrow as barren as the Aiel Waste, but Friday to celebrate the anniversary of the Eye of the World release, that's another story. And they did actually set our expectations, just to remind everybody about that. They said not a trailer, not a release date, but something that we've seen at least a few of you mention would be great to see. Looking forward to sharing it with you. And we believe it's happening right now because they also threw that fourth tweet, Taylor, that talks about the Innkeeper. Malkier Talks asked them, when is it going to happen? They said, let's just say the Innkeeper knows our ways. So I guess we're all trusting that I understand what they meant. So here we are, because we believe it's going to drop here in the next 5 minutes at 1 p.m. Eastern. So that being said, we're all waiting for some news. Daniel, what's your thoughts here, man? What do you think is about to drop?
I love a lot of the ideas I've seen. They've been wonderful. My pipe dream, my wish, since they said it's not a trailer, is we get some form of early merch. Because there's often merch available before it shows out. So I'd love to see something where I can go spend way too much money to own something and then make videos about it.
Yeah. That would be amazing. The water bottle is something that I wouldn't mind seeing the water bottle. That's for sure. I'll be honest. I might cancel the live stream and go buy a water bottle too. Maybe I'll just do it while I'm doing the live stream, right? We can multitask. Collin, what do you think? What do you think we're going to see, or what do you hope we see?
As much as I would love merch, I am still in the camp of I would love to see some Funko Pops of all the characters, but it's probably too early for that. But I think we're going to see another set piece or another prop or something like that. That's my guess. I think that's for the production team. I think that's the safest thing and something that's going to appease the audience.
A set piece, yeah. I think that is. Let's throw the poll up here, Taylor. And I see that the people are talking about a tweet that went out. I will mention that one in just a second. But we did a poll about like what fans thought we were going to see here. Let's throw that one in there, Taylor. Yeah, the picture. There was a tweet that they put out. A tweet that I did for a poll here. Fans thought overwhelmingly prop, costume, or music we were going to see here. So, yeah, that was like 340 of us crazy fans on Twitter, answering that. So yeah, I think that is the kind of general consensus. Although new cast that scene, that's here too. And then someone just mentioned this. I feel like I should probably respond. So I tweeted out to Wadham Prime, call me maybe. And they replied, if my mentions aren't too overwhelmed, apparently. So, okay. So, briefly, I'm going to reply to them. Talk amongst yourselves really quick. Daniel, what else if it's not merch and it's not a proper costume, what else do you think we might see? Because this is the 31st anniversary of the publication of The Eye of the World. Do you think it's going to be related to that?
Oh, if we got, talk about like the most extreme situation. I don't think it'll happen, but like a new edition of Eye of the World, that'd be extraordinary. Something with like, I don't know. I'm not normally like a fan of like cast on book covers, but something along those lines, of course, would be exceptional. But we just got one of those, so I don't know if that's necessarily something they'd be down for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. By the way, I'm like at the midst of like, what do I say? Great, I'll send you your own Collin line.
What about you, Collin?
I'm wondering if we're going to see, assuming it's some sort of media or video, I'm wondering if it's going to be another kind of like one of those kind of retrospective or kind of commemorative videos that we've seen them do in the past, kind of just talking about the release of this particular book and how that started this whole thing. I think that could be something. It may not even be necessarily like show related in that respect.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I saw someone saying we need a clarification on who Steve is. I would very much so be down for clarification on who Steve is.
Yeah. Some Steve knowledge would not be a bad idea. That's for sure. I would take that. Honestly, we're going to take whatever they send us, at this point. Is anyone seeing anything out there? I think we're about 1 minute away. Everyone's watching.
If it doesn't happen.
Yeah, exactly. Look, if it doesn't happen, we'll just keep talking. That's just what it is.
5-hour live stream. Let's go.
Exactly. 1 second. I'm just writing a little note here. I'm like in the midst of trying to get this call line to them just in case they wanted to, let's see. Here we go. Okay. Cool. So, what is it? What does chat think it is? Here we're 1 minute away, maybe half a minute away. Is everyone like refreshing that page?
I just have my notification. Oh, they just tweeted it.
Okay, they just tweeted it. Taylor, go ahead. Hey, Taylor. Can you play that one on the screen for us? It's in their tweets there. Here we go, everybody.
Of balance of gender and the emotional journey.
Want to restart that? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Yep.
As a fan of the books, I feel so lucky we get to bring this world. The Eye of the World is the themes of balance of gender and the emotional
Want to restart that? I think
these characters.
Start from the beginning.
Balance of what's special about the Eye of the World is the themes of balance of gender and the emotional journey of these characters. As a fan of the books, I feel so lucky we get to bring this world to life. What's special about the Eye of the World?
So there's might be two windows playing over on yours. Okay, what did you guys think about that? Oh man,
it's pretty cool. I really like the imagery that we're getting here.
These characters,
and I'm wondering, are these kind of like the drafts or the images that were used by the set designers, the costume designers to kind of show the scene that they kind of the feel that they want from these locations?
Yeah. Okay, I need to play this. I need to play this one more time, Taylor. You start us at the beginning. Play this
1 or 12, just somewhere in that.
Yeah, like once or 12 times. Oh, they just tweeted out.
As a fan of the books, I feel so.
Oh, are you playing that right now, Taylor, on the screen there? Yeah, no, it's okay. Yeah, I just want to play this one more time, and then we'll show some pictures to everybody that's there. So go ahead, Taylor.
What's special about the Eye of the World is the themes of balance of gender and the emotional journey of these characters. As a fan of the books, I feel so lucky we get to bring this world to life.
Love that shot right there. Look at that shot, man. Yeah, the question is, like, how much of that is that right there? Did they take that shot from the show there? Taylor, I'm going to throw us up what other tweets they put out here. Let's take a look at some of these images.
The Eye of the World is the themes of balance,
it's also playing
of gender, and the emotional journey.
At least I'm getting it. You guys hear that there? Okay. Just go ahead and throw the image up there, Taylor, on the next tweet that they have.
These characters.
Yeah, I can see that. Oh, look at that. Yeah, there's obviously, obviously not directly from the show itself, but I wonder if this is an exact scene that we're seeing here.
No, I think they're announcing it's animated. No.
Yeah, exactly. Just want to show the next Taylor, the image there. Yeah, as the tweet says, for those who might be listening to this later on, video description. They're doing 7 of these, Taylor, so you can go up then the tweets and find the kind of the first one that they did. I think if you scroll up there, You might have to click into their account to kind of find the beginning of the trail here. So let's go to this first tweet, and let's just read these through. The video opens up on the first page of Chapter 1 from Robert Jordan's The Eye of the World. Visible on screen is the sentence, "The wheel of time turns, ages come and pass, leaving memories that become legend." And go down to this third one right here, because they're just kind of describing some of these. As Rafe continues to talk, the video cuts to the concept of two men overlooking a valley. There appears to be a small encampment and a bridge near the river below. Can you show that one on that third one? Yeah, like... this two men overlooking a valley appears to be a small encampment bridge near. What's the thoughts of what we're seeing in this one? Because this does suggest to me, we heard. I think we heard something about, or recently there was some news of, maybe this was a shot that Rafe had talked about them doing up in a valley with Nynaeve, where he talked. I think it was at Jordan Con when you were with us, Daniel, and he talked about how they were out there in a valley, and then that's where he talked about that moment between Matt and Perrin and Rand, I should say, or Marcus and Barney and Yosha, as they went off and with their own car. I think they were in a car somewhere playing, having fun. So I kind of wonder if this valley they were talking about, this is kind of a concept art of that, but that moment.
Right.
Anyway, for those, I'm kind of curious. I haven't been watching chat. I've been focused on these tweets.
I'm sorry.
So
I'm just
funny.
looking at the images.
Show this next image, Taylor. This was so much more, I think, in my brain that I thought we'd end up seeing. So this next one, it says the next piece of concept art is a festival with numerous lights adorning the town and women dancing in a circle as men look on. This one's obvious, what we're going to see here. Show this next couple of images of that, Taylor, again. And then let's go on to this fifth one right here.
So is that Shar Logith we're looking at?
This, which in 6, where I'm looking at 5.
Sorry,
I'm
I'm a bad person to have on right now, Matt.
I know. I'm scared of this. From there, the video shows a group of wagons surrounding a campsite where people have built a fire. Fantastic. Obviously, we're gonna, I don't know if this campfire moment is supposed to be. It looks like it's probably supposed to be the Tinkers, or maybe it's not. Maybe
that looks like a full build. Okay, so that Tinkers is there. The one above it, that looks like Winter's Night to me.
It's got to be. Yeah, it's got to be.
Yeah.
And it's got to be Beltane, because Rafe talked about actually getting Beltane here. So
that's true. Yeah.
And so we actually will get Beltane, and so.
Those wagons better be more colorful in the show.
If that's Tinkers, yeah, that's what I said. I mean, I can't think it's Tinkers because the colors don't seem right, but maybe
we need a hefty splashing of LSD for that to be Tinkers.
And Taylor, do you want to throw this next one up? 6. Here, let's see. And then this one, number 6 here, says the video then transitions to a concept art of a group of riders on horseback crossing a bridge over a stream. This obviously has to be something akin to this that we'll see as they've left, right, Emmons Field for sure.
Right. What's that tower in the distance there?
Yeah, did you catch that?
Yeah.
Nice. That's, so it depends, right? This could be, I mean, the tower, obviously it could be, alluding to the Tower of Genji, or it could be something in Shadow Logoth, right? So maybe it is, because we'll go to this next one. Maybe this next one, I kind of wonder, like you're saying, Daniel, maybe this is Shadow Logoth. So let's see this next tweet. Sorry, go ahead.
I think it might just be a really rad chimney. Have we considered that?
It ends with concept art of a hooded rider on horseback in a deserted city covered by a pale white fog. The pale white fog feels too specific, right? The pale white fog. I love the deserted city. Obviously, this is Shadow Logoth. So win for us. It seems like if you kind of ran through each of those, and even if you did them in order, you would definitely be. This would definitely be suggesting that we're getting kind of a lot of the initial sequences that we anticipated that we would get. We're going to get some Tinkers. We're going to get them being broken up. We're going to get Shadow Logoth. We're going to get them leaving Emmons Field. Whew. We're just sitting here staring at these things. It's they give us so much to look at there. Did I miss a tweet? Has anyone been tracking Rafe's tweets? I've seriously been staring at these images, so I can't say that I've actually looked to see if he's tweeted
I will jump on Rafe real quick.
Or Instagrammed anything.
Sentence. No, he's been quiet. He's not doing anything right now.
Okay, so he said that's right. I was looking at the one he has pinned was actually from last year on his Twitter account. So yeah, there was a funny moment. Okay, so let's open the phone lines. I want to ask you all about what we just saw. And Unraveling the Pattern just said in chat, don't forget to mention that this is obviously a small clip from a larger featurette. Yes, absolutely. Yes. This does seem to be, a portion maybe of their behind the scenes kind of.
Yeah, I'm actually very excited about that content.
Yeah, exactly. And Taylor, go ahead and throw the phone lines up. If people want to call in, I'm kind of curious what everyone thought about that. It's 1-313-825-5968. That's 1-313-825-5968 or Talk Watt. We'd love to kind of hear what your thoughts are on what you just saw, what they just released. Yeah, go ahead, Daniel. Yeah.
Two things. One, I've always pictured Shadar Logoth as like a Gondoran city if you leave it for 150 years, and that's what that looks like to me. So spot on, like straight out of the books, in my opinion. Do you guys agree? Does that look pretty like how you envision Shadar Logoth?
Well, I think I thought it was there were fewer buildings, but probably not. You know what I mean? I'm sitting here going like, oh my gosh, I hadn't ever made it that big, if that makes sense in my head.
Yeah, so I agree. Like, I understand it to be that big, but like the concept of in my mind is this is far more detailed and far larger in scale.
So are we allowed to get into a little bit of spoilers here?
Yeah, so and we'll throw that up here now. Throw some spoilers up, a spoiler banner up for those that are. We have a first caller, but we'll bring them in after Daniel. You make this comment, sure. And yes, but spoilers possibly throughout the entire series. Here, looks like Sarah just dropped into chat, so we'll absolutely. I'm sure she had asked the question. Like, what did you think? And so I can tell chat's sharing what they thought with her right now. Yeah, Daniel, go ahead. Spoiler banner's up for anyone that stuck around.
I like Shadar Logoth being a bit more intact, because that means when it gets destroyed later on, it's more thematic. It's not just like, you're pushing over an already toppled building. It's you are ruining a city that has still stood the test of time. I like that appeal of that.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting because it has that, like you said, it's the concept art of it, so it'll be interesting to see what they actually kind of did put in there. Sure. But I agree, there's definitely some buildings that are standing enough. It was a huge city,
Yeah.
And the fact that it is still standing after this many years is significant in and of itself. So it's got to have some bones that are holding things up for sure.
Yeah.
Collin, thoughts on that before we bring in our first caller?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I really like the kind of riffing on that. I like the idea that we get to see some of this integrity, because even when they join and when they see the city for the first time, if we can see it degrade before their eyes, if we can see kind of just their minute interactions with it causing it to kind of erode, we will get some inkling of the decay that's there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there was so much content there. I don't feel like I've fully consumed it yet. Let me bring our first caller into the show. Welcome to the Dusty Wheel. How you doing today?
I am doing super, Matt. Thank you for having me. It's Joe here from Talker and Riyadh.
Sorry, the Innkeeper's wife is not available just yet to jump in to handle the calls. So you're coming right into the show. Joe, how you doing, man?
This is whoa. This is awesome, man. These pictures are amazing.
Yeah, what was your favorite part of it? You can leave that up, Taylor.
You know what? I'm able to I'm looking through these pictures and I'm pointing out everything. So the picture, I guess I'm assuming that's Rand and Matt or whoever overlooking that village. We've seen that photo. We've seen that set photo of that mining village by the river that I think Watt Series had found. So this has got to be that.
What do you think that is? I mean, we have the valley shot. Do you think that's just kind of like getting us into the world? In other words, getting us to Emmons Field, or do you think that is happening after they leave? In other words, do you think that's part of a different sequence, or are you thinking that is something that we see with the
yeah? This could be maybe when Rand and Matt are traveling on their own towards Camelin. Maybe it's one of the towns they stop in, or I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, that's an excellent point because it is showing two individuals there. Yeah, that's. I hadn't actually connected the idea that they might have, purposely set those two people there in the concept art. Yeah, so I like that idea a lot. Yeah.
Well, I think it's I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just wondering if maybe it's because of the order of the images. I'm wondering if it's just an establishing shot for the boys, kind of like adventuring in the Mountains of Mist or somewhere in the two rivers.
Oh yeah.
If it's just some sort of establishing thing, I don't know.
Yeah,
just a thought.
Good point.
Yeah. I love that idea a lot. Other thoughts here, Joe, from you? Like, what else other than that stood out to you?
Well, it looks like, Rafe did say we're getting Beltane on the other photo, so this has got to be Beltane, right? That's the wine spring from the what we've seen of the set.
Yeah, Taylor, you want to throw that tweet up again while Joe's talking about that image? It's I think it's number 4. Was it number 4 that they did in that tweet? I'm trying to remember what the it's the picture of the town with the villagers dancing around at night. Yeah.
So so it seems like we're going to get Beltane, and then they're going to attack probably that night the Trollocs. That's my guess.
Yeah,
I'm noticing it seems every female character is wearing some form of head garb, while the guys are just hair out. If you look closely, it seems like everyone with a skirt's got a head garb on. Yeah.
Oh man, you can tell that everyone's gonna be zooming into this thing, and
I think I see a braid.
There better be more than one.
So Rainbow Everything just pointed out that that can't be the Mountains of Mist because Rand has a sword. If that's Rand in the picture, has a sword and doesn't get that until after Winternight. So yeah, that's a great point. That shot is probably afterwards. I love the idea that it's after they've separated potentially. Yeah, that seems like it absolutely makes a lot of sense. Other thoughts here, Joe? Like what else stands out to you, or among Daniel and Collin? Anything else as you go through these and look these over that's kind of has you excited for the show?
I just realized something. The reason they're doing a landscape and a portrait is so that, or a vertical one as well. So if you want to do an iPhone wallpaper, they got you covered.
Oh yeah, there you go.
For both sides if you want to go.
Yeah, and Sarah just pointed out in chat. I can't remember. I know what she was replying to, but she said, "Don't worry about that. This is from art department, not our makeup department. Concepts, right? Like this is very conceptual kind of things. So I wouldn't probably take it too to heart if you see something you're like, that's I'm waiting for the comments afterwards to be like, they're ruining the Wheel of Time. In their image, I saw there was a sword or whatever."
So I think, Collin, you had pointed out in that wide shot of them crossing the bridge that it looked like there was a tower in the background there. And I was thinking, we were talking about this on our episode breakdown show last week about Jen had them going to Tar Valon instead of going to Camelin. So maybe that's the White Tower back there.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, the White Tower. I hadn't thought about the White Tower. That's and Sarah's saying, by the way, for anyone that was listening to that comment, she was referring to the hair coverings. That's what she was referring to. So that's what she was specifically. Thank you, Sarah, for clarifying that. Sorry, I didn't track that in chat. But yeah, what could that tower be? Tower of Genji. It could be a tower in Shadow Logoth. Apparently, Joe thinks it could be Tar Valon. It honestly could be anything. Or, like Sarah pointed out, it's just concept art from the art department, so it could be totally nothing. Extremely exciting. We'll have to show this again. If you're just catching this right now, Wheel of Time on Amazon Prime, go check their social media accounts out. They just posted a 17-second clip. Looks like kind of a portion of a behind the scenes with some really cool stills from a concept art perspective. It's a lot of fun. And then they posted those individually on their social media accounts, so you can kind of follow those things. It's awesome. We'll play it again here shortly. Joe, thank you, man, for calling in. Appreciate it. I got some other callers behind you.
No, thanks for having me.
It was
super
awesome.
Excited at Shadow Logoth. That looks awesome. Thanks for having me. Have a good day, guys.
Shadow Logoth has been confirmed, I feel like, in these. Have a good one, man. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. We'll bring our next caller in here shortly. Did you ever have any doubt, Daniel, that we weren't going to get Shadow Logoth? Like, did you ever feel like that might be one of the things that they would cut?
I never thought that'd be something they cut. Shadow Logoth is too many fans have way too much investment in Shadow Logoth, in my opinion, especially with like the diehard people who are at the heart writing this show. Yeah, it's a must for me. I think it never something is going to go away.
Yeah. I thought that was. I was excited. I like the confirmation. Collin, did you ever were you on the edge there?
No, I never questioned that. I think it's far too important to the plot as well as to differentiating the series in terms of like classic fantasy literature. I think it's important.
Yeah, for sure. And let's bring our second caller into the show here. Let's welcome to the Dusty Wheel. How you doing today?
Hello.
Hello. Sorry, you didn't. We don't have anyone screening calls today, so
sorry.
you're coming right to the show. Who's this?
Oh, this is Noah McKenzie. How are you?
Good. How you doing? So, what are your thoughts so far
I'm
on
doing
today's news release from Wheel of Time and Amazon Prime? What have you liked?
God, seeing all of it is surreal. It is very much surreal. Recently, I just got into the Wheel of Time thanks to Daniel Greene. Thanks to Daniel Greene here.
Nice.
Thank you.
It was, I don't know.
That's
Honestly,
awesome.
Honestly, when I saw the Shadow Logoth concept, my brain completely disregarded Shadow Logoth. It was like, is that Rudion? I was like, what are they doing here? Because I'm on I forget what book I'm on at the moment, but God, everything looks almost completely different from how I imagined it.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Well, and this goes back to Daniel's first question. Like, I don't think that in my imagination, at least for me as a reader, I'm very kind of narrow with what I'm seeing in the moment. Like, typically in my head is all the things that are right around whatever the character's speaking. I don't have a huge concept of the world in my head as I'm reading. And I think other people do this absolutely two different. They do it differently. For you, Collin, do you see an entire world as you're reading, or do you see images in your head as you're going, or is it more just kind of filling in the details when they give it? Like they're wearing a green cloak, and so there's a green cloak. I
mean, I think for me, it's an understanding that this vast world exists around, but what I'm actually seeing in my mind when I'm reading is just kind of what is being engaged with on the page at the moment, I think. But you understand that like these other things are very lush and vast around that area,
Yeah. Yeah, that's
I'm opening each picture in Photoshop and zooming in, even though I've been told it's not accurate. I have to do that.
Yeah. So Nick just said, Dusty will zoom in on the windows in Shadow Logoth. So Taylor, is there a way for you to actually get that one for Shadow Logoth up? And thank you very much for giving us a call. Thank you for being a new caller. Any final thoughts on what you saw today before we let you go? What are you most excited about seeing in this first season of the Wheel of Time on Amazon Prime?
Honestly, I'm just excited to see it brought. I'm just excited to see it brought to real life and compare it and see how the acting is. To see how I'm more excited just to see Lan. I'm dead excited for that one.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. No, yeah. He's a lot of fun to watch and follow on social media too. He's fantastic.
He's just randomly throwing out high kicks, and I'm just like, okay, he's a good land.
Daniel and his dogs is it's its own journey. So, hey man, thank you very much for calling in. Thank you for being a first time caller, and obviously, thank you for reading the books because of Daniel. That's pretty awesome. So hopefully,
thank you.
Keep following it, and look forward to talking to you again. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Yep, bye.
So, I'm going to be honest, Matt, I've been zooming in on the Shutter Logoth windows for about 15 minutes now, and I have not seen a single thing in any of these windows.
Okay, is that what people are they're saying? Is that what they're saying? We're in some windows in Shadow Logoth? They're seeing some faces or something? Faces in the window is what Nick is saying in chat here.
I don't see it.
Yeah, and Sarah pointed this out. She just wrote in chat. I just got a text from my brother that the art looks exactly how he imagined. It's interesting how folks have different personal perceptions. Absolutely, everyone's going to have such a variation of what they're imagining, other than beyond just like it says specifically what it's a green cloak, so you imagine a green cloak, but how that green cloak looks, is obviously going to be different. Let's bring our next caller into the show. Hey, welcome to the Dusty Wheel. How you doing today?
Hey, good. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Who's this?
This is Kyle.
Kyle. Well, thank you for calling in. Appreciate it. So, what are your thoughts so far on what you saw that Wheel of Time on Amazon Prime dropped today?
I am loving it. First of all, I think, I don't know if it's been stated yet, but there hasn't really been a lot of great concept art for the Wheel of Time in general. So just to see like a couple decently put together pictures. I know there's the book of big bad art, so which that name kind of explains what most of the fandom thinks about it. But just to see like Beltane and stuff done really well, it's really cool.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't thought about that, but there has not been a lot of concept art other than just what artists have put out there, and like you said, things that we've seen over the last couple decades now. So it's fun to actually see artists related to the show itself throw some images out there for, like you said, Shadow Logoth and such. Yeah, that's a great point. Any thoughts on that? Are you excited, Daniel, that we finally have some concept art in world?
Yes, extremely so. I always geek out over stuff like this a lot, and especially just like trying to pick up the little things of like, okay, if this is the concept art, can I speculate on this is like the tone they're going for, or like, because they tell, from my impression, they tell concept artists like, this is what we want in terms of like a feel, in terms of like a look, and so I always try to figure out what exactly they told the artists.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's just, and sorry, and to all the artists out there, obviously you've done amazing art in about the world. Actually, Rob has put out some, Rob Christensen, he's in chat here, put out some of the earlier art that I remember seeing when I was young. That is to say, Rob and I are old folks here, and I remember some of the concepts that we saw fans putting out there, and so it's fun to just kind of finally get into the world this way. And I'm not sure if Sarah, she put ... here. She said, I really want to say what images really closely reflect the actual sets, but I won't. It's okay, Sarah. Again, there's only just a couple people here. No one's going to take screenshots of your stuff and post it on the internet afterwards. That's not going to happen. Well, hey, thank you very much for giving us a call. Last thoughts before we let you go. What was your favorite? I mean, other than having the concept art, was there anything that stood out to you that you loved the most in what Amazon just dropped today?
I like that they dropped some behind the scenes stuff. I know that there were a lot of people asking for that before. So to see Rafe kind of like addressing, this is, what I think the Eye of the World is about. And this is kind of what we put together. That's really cool. And knowing that there's probably a lot more of that with interviews of cast and crew and people actually building it. So that's going to be cool to see.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously, I think that's going forward. Hopefully we'll get some more clips of this. As pointed out, this is just a real small snippet. Being able to actually watch what eventually will be the whole behind the scenes stuff after the first season will be really cool. I can't wait to understand I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I can't wait to understand from Rafe's position why he made all the choices and he and his team made the choices that they ended up making about the show, whether or not it's stuff like this, like how something looked,
Yeah.
So, well, Kyle, hey, thank you very much for calling in. Really appreciate you hanging on the line, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for having me. Bye, guys.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye. Looks like we have something up on the screen there, Taylor. Oh, there we go. We're back. Let me bring our second caller into the show here. We have a long list of callers here. Have you seen anything else, any other posts here on social media between the two of you, Collin and Daniel? Anything from Rafe that we should kind of highlight here before we take our next caller?
I haven't seen anything yet. No, not
okay.
yet.
Cool. Let's bring our next caller into the show. Hey, welcome to the Dusty Wheel. How are you doing today?
Hello, how are you?
Fantastic. Sorry we don't have everyone screening the calls. You're just coming directly into the show today. So what's your name?
Hi, my name is Scott Duffy.
Scott.
I go by Breakpoint on YouTube. But
awesome.
I'm here to talk about how excited I am about the new Shadow Logoth imagery.
Nice.
It's my favorite shot, if I'm being honest. It's Shadow Logoth. I immediately am like, that's the one I'm going to stare at for like 2 hours later.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What is it that other than seeing it, what else did you like about that shot? Hey, Taylor, you want to throw up some of the shots that we're getting from them? Okay, cool. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry about that.
Oh yeah, no, I was just saying that the buildings are much taller than I pictured them being. The overall, I guess it's a dark shot because overall, like in my mind, I always pictured them a little grayer, but like it's just beautiful the way they've designed like the intricacies of the exterior.
Yeah, I agree, and that's again, it's so like Sarah hasn't told us yet in chat which ones look exactly like they do in the show, so it's hard to know. But I do like that there are, and I it's hard. I'm having a hard time actually thinking about or thinking back to what the exact text says, but I thought that it does talk about just that they could tell this was a huge city and that some of the buildings were just tall. They're like, obviously broken down at the top, whatever, like halved, if you will. And obviously the influence of that on the actual buildings themselves make the buildings kind of break down. So maybe that's when I'm kind of looking at the concept art there. Maybe some of the buildings look a little bit more substantial than I thought they would. Maybe that's what I'm. But yeah, absolutely.
More put together.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't wait to some fades and some Trollocs running through these streets, though.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I did just zoom in on the Winter Night one and just slowly pan for like a Trolloc face hid in the background, like, hey guys, but there's
yeah, sorry. I'm kind of Nick Judge in chat mentioned that there were some faces in the Shadow Logo shot. Sorry that we can't bring that to you. Hey, thank you so much for calling in, being on the line, being a fan, and looking forward to what we get here coming up. Taylor's trying to get some images. Looks like the stream is having some problems showing some images on the screen here. But anyway, have a good afternoon. Hopefully you join us back in chat and come back for some more weekly episodes that we do here at the Dusty Wheel. Thanks, man. Have a good one.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, bye-bye.
I absolutely love that I'm seeing people on Twitter already just like picking apart pixel by pixel, like, trying to figure out like what is this.
I love Sarah. Sarah just said in chat, "I am not the Watt version of Tom Holland. I am a Vault." I love it. I love it. Brian just asked in chat, which of these are you guys going to make your phone backgrounds? Great question. So, Collin, which of these images is your phone background after this live stream?
Oh man, I think the Shadow Logoth is the obvious one, but I actually really like the first one with the two guys overlooking the kind of canyon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that one too. I like that one a lot. Yeah, that one's good. What about you, Daniel? Which one's going to be your phone background?
I actually just made already while I'm professionally.
Yes, that's good.
The bell time on both my phone background and my new Twitter banner.
You're multitasking.
I'm a multitasker. What can I say?
Well done. Well done. I'm kind of curious with everybody in chat, which ones have you already made your backgrounds? And let's bring our next caller into the show. Let's see what they have to say. Hey, welcome to the Dusty Wheel. How you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing good. This is Kim, long-time listener, first-time caller. I feel like that's that old 90s phrase, right?
I like it. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Kim, welcome to the show. How you doing today?
I'm great. I've been so excited about this. I missed the live stream last time, Matt, because I thought it was an old YouTube notification, so I was really sad. But I am loving all these images. My sister and I are freaking out over Edmonds Field and Winter Night, and I love the misty look of Shadow Logoth. It all looks great.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun. Taylor's throwing some images up here and getting them so we can kind of jump through these as we talk about them. Which one's your favorite so far, Kim?
I think I really love the concept art for the Shadow Logoth. I think that it fits kind of what I always thought was this big, towering but crumbly, ghostly city, like old school London. So I love that it kind of looks like that. So it fits. I love the wagons too. They were really great. It makes me feel like, because they're bright, they're colorful, but they're not clowny. So I really love them. They look amazing.
That's interesting. Yeah, colorful but not clowny. Yeah,
that's a really good way to put it. Mm-hmm.
Michael in chat just asked, "Are these from the show?" And these are actually concept art, and we're given to understand that some of these may look similar, and some of them may not, or maybe none of them do. And but this is just concept art and not a direct representation of the actual props and what exactly everything else we'll see. So just so for his purposes.
The horses are remarkably stiff if you zoom in on them. So let's go. There's a bunch of horses going.
Yeah, the one overlooking the valley is going to get a lot of chatter, I'm sure. That does, there does seem like some red hair there. If you're going concept art, I could see that being Rand and Matt for sure. So that's I do like that piece of art itself. But yeah, this idea of the old school London and Shadow Logoth, I do like that idea a lot, Kim. Any other from everything that Amazon's released? Which one's been your kind of favorite recently of these teaser trailers? We obviously got the Heron Mark sword, we got the guitar, we have this one. Have you liked this behind the scene concept art more so than the others, or do you like the getting kind of a prop from the actual production company?
I love this because it kind of gives us a lot of, I mean, I feel like we're going to spend 3 days looking at all this before we've kind of gone through it all, right?
Yeah.
I really love the whole drop thing because I started reading these in 2000, so I've been on this train a long time. And so it helps, right? Because as they change things, I'm like, oh, I can live with that change. That looks really awesome. So it's not like when the show goes live, we're going to get hit by 30 changes in the first day and freak out. We already know they're coming, and we've seen what they're going to be, and we've already accepted those changes, which I think is really helpful for all of us old school fans.
Yeah, that's right. That's the truth. Yeah, that's really well said. Hey, Kim, thank you so much for calling in. Thank you for being a longtime viewer, but first time caller. I always appreciate new callers coming in and love that you love what's going on here at the Dusty Wheel, and really appreciate it. And hopefully we'll see you next time we're live next Wednesday. Have a good day.
Thanks for having me.
Okay? Yep. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.
Yeah, this kind of drumbeat of really releasing these things. So let's be honest, right? Maybe this one obviously has larger scale applicability just to everyone, but I still think these little releases they're doing are very much about the fans and very much about engaging with us and almost preparing us, with some concept art to kind of show us what their thoughts are beforehand about what these things look like. So again, one of these moments where we're not like surprised, that we're seeing something here. Are any of these a surprise for you, Collin? Other than things might not look exactly like you thought, did any of these kind of like catch you off guard?
No, I don't think so. I think they kind of all fall within the realm of pleasant possibility for me, looking at them. It's exciting to kind of see the things that they're thinking about, but none of them feel kind of off or strange, Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to bring this up, Daniel. I don't know, Collin, if you're also a gamer. I know Daniel is. Is there some excitement when you see these images? Like this might be like this almost look like in-game shots in some way. Do you anticipate that Wheel of Time that Amazon's going to do some games and put some games together and have this isn't turned into kind of a gaming thing here in about 2 or 3 years?
Every successful franchise gets a game at some point. It's just a matter of how good of a game do they end up getting.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I've been salivating for a Wheel of Time game since day one. I'm one of the few people who wants like a army moving, like that scale game, not the individual like first person, but definitely more hype than ever for a game. That'll never not be a thing. I just love that the one game we have so far of Wheel of Time is somehow an FPS. The fact that we have a first-person shooter as the one Wheel of Time video game is amazing.
Yeah, for sure. And for those of you that are way down line, I appreciate it. There's a long list. We'll get you in here just shortly. There's 6 of you kind of online right now, so just waiting. So let's bring our next caller in here to the show. Hey, welcome to the Dusty Wheel. How you doing today?
Good. How are you guys?
Fantastic. So who we talking to?
I'm Jeremiah. Called in once before. I think Collin was in that episode too. Anyway.
Oh, really? There you go.
By the way, Daniel, I love the idea of a video game like that for the Wheel of Time, for like a Total War style.
Oh yeah.
Control the armies. That would be a lot of fun.
I wanted to send 10,000 Trollocs on the village.
Yes. I love all of these images. It gets me so excited. I just watched one of Daniel's videos yesterday. It popped up in my YouTube feed where you were talking about the rewatchability of the Lord of the Rings trilogy and how it stood up. And it just these images made me think about that, of like the wide shots that they took, and really, God, I'm so excited for that. I can't wait to see what it's going to look like.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you looking forward to the gaming aspect too for this, Jeremiah?
That could be a lot of fun too. I just want to see the show in my eyes.
You're like, just give me the show.
One at a time, Matt.
Look, I know all of a sudden I don't know why I got so excited about the gaming, and I think it's just the nature of the concept art makes me feel like I can absolutely see this being in world in an RPG kind of style game. So
I agree with you. Yeah. When I saw the art, I was like, oh, like Skyrim? What's going on here?
Yeah. Oh man, I hadn't really, and I haven't really embedded in that idea that we might get like a really great, RPG out of this, but I would love it, and I would play the hell out of that thing. So that's.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if Sarah is willing to tell us this, but have there been many wide sweeping shots? Is there a helicopter following the crew at all times, getting those? I know you're a vault, but if we can know about the kind of helicopter.
I know you're a vault, but just this one little thing. Just this one little thing.
Just crack it Apache? Does it have missiles?
Does it have? Yeah, that's exactly. Sarah just said, I can't wait to share some of the experiences I had seeing these concepts come to life. Yeah, absolutely. We can't either. That's clear. Hey, thank you very much, Jeremiah, for calling in. One last question before you go. Favorite Wheel of Time book?
Shadow Rising.
Shadow Rising. Yeah, that's among the most common and favorites for sure. One of my favorites. Hey, Jeremiah, have a good one, man. We'll talk to you soon.
You sounded dismissive. You were like, yeah, that's
that's not what I meant. Look, it's just when people say like Crossroads of Twilight, I'm like, wait, what? Stop the show. We need to talk about this. And when somebody says Shadows Rise, I'm like, yeah, that's understandable. Sorry,
Sarah responded drones and cranes. I forgot we're in 2020, not 2000. That's my bad.
You're like, Sarah gave away drones. I love it. Let's bring our next caller into the show. Hey, welcome to the Dusty Wheel. How you doing today?
Hey, good. How are you?
Fantastic. Who are we talking to?
My name's Lauren.
Lauren! Oh, sorry.
And I have a very long list of things I want to talk about.
Okay. Just remember, you got other fans waiting for you. So like, this is Lauren with Unwrapping the Pattern, and it's so funny. I took it for you a second to really get to your voice, and I was like, "Who's this?" And you're like, "This is Lauren," and my brain was like, "Yeah, it's Lauren." So what's up, Lauren? How have you enjoyed this, man? Tell us, give us your rundown here.
Oh, I'm so excited. This is like a dream come true for me. But I, just thinking through all this stuff, I have a lot of things I want to talk about, so I'll try to go through it quick. That's okay.
Yeah, go for it. Go through it quick. But yeah, give us.
First of all, I love that Twitter has given these like descriptive tweets of what's in the video. Yeah. I feel like that's a direct answer to their whole trying to be more accessible to people with different disabilities. I think that's really cool.
That's fantastic.
Second, I whether we like it or not, these types of images, they're forming in our minds what the Wheel of Time looks like to us. I think about like the Harry Potter movies. I can't see Harry Potter as anybody other than Daniel Radcliffe. I'm always going to see Beltane as these images and as how the show portrays it, and I'm okay with that because what they're doing is awesome. So that's something that came to mind. Another big thing is looking at these different images. I've noticed that like the Beltane celebration and Shatter Logoth and all of these images, they seem like they're pretty polished drawings or paintings. But the one with the two guys looking over what looks like a mining village down in near a lake or whatever, that one looks really sort of hastily put together. And so my crack brain theory about that is that this particular image is based on actual photographs of the location where they chose to film. And then they sort of put this together sort of after the fact, whereas the others were probably built before the show started.
Oh, it's interesting. Yeah, we put that one up on screen, Taylor. Leave that one up there. I see what you're saying here now. If I take this look from a graphic design perspective, when you look at the encampment in the lower left of this image, it does seem like they've, it's just not a high res. Yeah, like it's not really a high res version of this valley, but this does look a lot like. I mean, it probably is. You're probably right. This probably is the valley, and it's just
the bridge just looks real.
That's kind of how it feels.
Yeah, and but I
see the bridge maybe is real. The mountains are probably real, but like low res image that they just kind of photoshopped in. So I'm excited because I think probably this is an actual location where they're going to be filming. So anyway, that caught my eye.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing to point out. Yeah, I love that. As now that I'm staring, now I need to go back and stare at these really closely. Yeah, that's a great one.
It's funny.
Are you in line with that idea? Okay. Do you think that's a Rand and Matt after they've split up? Is that what you think that is?
Oh yeah, for sure. It's funny, when I first saw it, I thought White Bridge, and then I really looked at it and I was like, no, there's no way this is White Bridge. That would be stupid.
That would be an interesting choice.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, that's cool to me because it makes me feel like some of the concept art, they've built sets around it. For example, the inn in the concept art looks almost exactly like the images of the inn in Emmonsville that we've seen leaked, right?
Yep.
So that was probably, I wonder if the set was sort of built based on that concept art. Whereas this one, maybe they had concept art drawn up, but then they sort of hastily threw this together after the location was picked. Anyway, that's my brain theory.
No, that's
the other
that's
last thing I love is the Mandalorian ends each episode with concept art. I love that they're kind of embracing that. That's a really cool thing. And speaking of that featurette they did, I already kind of mentioned this in the chat. It does really seem to imply that they're going to have sort of like behind the scenes featurette after each episode. And to me, this tells me a few things. One, they're probably going to release these weekly because they have like a special featurette, sort of like what Game of Thrones used to do. Like at the end of each Game of Thrones episode, they'd have a little showrunners talk about the episode featurette, right? So it feels like they're setting up for that. And then the other thing that excites me is they're probably close to finished with some of these episodes if they're already working on the featurettes for the episode, which is very cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, all those things are exciting. That's a great list of items. Now I really need to stare at that one in the valley that we have there. I saw a note here in chat from Delusion saying that both Celtic Mist and Geekieri indicated that location's called Velka America, for those that are kind of interested in looking that up and seeing that valley. So, hey, Lauren, always awesome to have you here. Thank you very much for calling in and love your assessment. I'm sure you're going to throw a video out here saying all these same things shortly.
Yes, definitely.
I'm looking forward to it.
It's nice to talk to you officially, Daniel.
Yeah, it's excited to hear from you.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey Lauren, have a good one. Okay, I'm going to talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
I do want to quickly note, we haven't touched on what Rafe said in the video at all. And I just want to say that one of the few things out of his mouth was touching on the gender in Wheel of Time, which is such a huge part of the series. So it's just good to see him immediately addressing Robert Jordan played with gender dynamics a lot. So let's get into that.
Yeah, absolutely. And he and that seems to be something he's brought up a couple times in QAs. He brought that up in the JordanCon, Zoom bomb from back in 2020. I like saying back in 2020 now. That's cool. we're in 2021. Back in 2020 when that all happened, that was amazing. Absolutely. And the fact that they chose that to put in here just says again, like, that's coming. And he's mentioned it a lot of times. So again, it's to fandom. All these things I think are preparatory for the fandom that's been around for decades now, getting ready to kind of experience this and preparing us for it. So yeah, that's a good call out, Daniel. There's 5 people here waiting to get in. So let's bring them in and let's see what they have to say. And then I want to play this again. Taylor, are we able to play it again, or is that not working on the screen? Are you able to do a screen capture and play the video?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll play that video here shortly, but let's get our callers in here to the show. Hey, welcome to the Dusty Wheel. How you doing today? We can't hear you if you're on mute.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, I muted myself earlier.
No worries. You were waiting a while. Totally appreciate it. So who's this?
No worries. Yeah, long-time listener, second-time caller. So it's a good thing I catch the live stream to be back here again.
Yeah, I love it. What was your name?
Chris.
Hey, thank you for calling in again. Appreciate that. So what are your thoughts on Amazon's release today?
I really like the artwork. I wanted to bring up something that I don't think anybody said yet about the Shadow logo picture.
Yeah,
we only see one writer.
Sorry, go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, we only see one writer in there. So I'm thinking, could that potentially be Padden Fane? And maybe we get a clip of Padden Fane writing into Shadow logo separately from the group. Or is that just one person to represent, them writing out when they're trying to get out of there? I don't know, but
yeah.
Or it's just Matt looking for things to touch.
It's just Matt. Okay, I do want to point this out because I did not point this out before. If you look in the far distance, you do get that looks like a dome, which they talk about, I thought, in Shadow Logoth, the domes. And I want to say that does look like, honestly, so I worked in in the city of Chicago, and this reminds me of a shot from the city of Chicago. Actually, it's in the financial district, and there's an image almost like this. So it's working for me on multiple dimensions here, which I love. So
use that as a reference.
Yeah, I'm going to go find a shot of it, and I'm going to kind of pair them together. I'll throw that up on social media afterwards. Yeah, it's a fun reference to use, that's for sure. Other thoughts, Chris? What else kind of stood out to you other than that kind of single rider on in Shadow Logoth?
Well, when we were first going through the video, like the image of like Matt and Rand up on the mountain with like the valley, I saw that for a second because I was like kind of doing something else while I was on my iPad, and I thought it was Whitebridge, and I'm like, Whitebridge isn't in a valley like that. And then going back, obviously it's like supposed to be like a mining town or something. But yeah, like I think that scene is probably after the group splits up, but I guess it, like people were saying, it could be, before they leave Emmonsfield, something in the beginning. But yeah, that was the vibe that I got first off, since it was like, oh, Matt and Rand together. This is probably them when they're on their own adventures.
There's a part, Quarry Road aspect to this. There certainly could be. It's not impossible. The concept art doesn't have to match exactly. So what the scene is going to be. So yeah, I agree. This certainly could be one of the entry kind of moments where we get to know these two later on. But because Rafe talks about that whole scene of where, Rand and Tam are coming into Emmons Field and, we're going to get Beltane, it's hard to imagine them breaking out for another scene around the area, but maybe that happens. Hey, thank you. Thank you so much, Chris, for calling in. We totally appreciate it. We have a couple callers behind you, so I'll let it on. But yeah, man, appreciate you being our second time caller.
You guys have a good day, okay?
Yeah, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, that's a good call out. Now I can't wait until after this and I can go pair the shot I'm talking about in Chicago with this Shadow Logoth shot. That's gonna be fun. Collin, anything else standing out to you as the conversation's been happening here? We'll get these 4 callers in. We've been settling on this now almost for an hour. What's your takeaway from what we got today and just it being 2021 and the Wheel of Time and Amazon Prime show coming up this year?
I think I'm really just kind of appreciative of this kind of the whole team, the Wheel of Time on Prime team. They don't have to release this stuff. They know that we're gonna geek out over it and love it, and I really appreciate that they kind of engage with us in that way. And I like to see exactly how much kind of thought they're putting into the show. If they're putting this kind of detail and thought into these images, then I can only assume that they're putting 1,000 times more into the show.
For sure.
So I really appreciate that.
I absolutely agree with that. And that continues to be kind of a fun thing for fans just to engage in, right? The social media accounts just themselves, they don't have to do any of that, right? This morning they posted a tweet. I don't know if you have that one, that T tweet, Taylor, that I threw up there, but it's you can actually threw an image for it, so you can go throw an image in there. But the tweet was about the fact that they were just taking their morning tea this morning, and they didn't have to reply. They don't have to do any of that stuff. So yeah, just their engagement's been fantastic. Let's bring in our next caller to the show. Hey, welcome to the Dusty Wheel. How you doing today?
Good, thanks. How you guys doing?
Fantastic. Who's this?
This is Brian, longtime listener, first-time caller.
Awesome.
Just wanted to say thanks to Daniel and yourself for both your content. Huge fan of both your shows, and definitely looking forward to more great videos from you guys. Love the fact that you guys do these live while they are releasing content. I'm now waiting for both your show and for new content on a daily basis, so appreciate that.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. Hopefully everyone's enjoying that.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's a really, really great way of engaging with the community. So question for both everyone on the show. Have you guys any ideas about where Rafe might be when he's talking? So I haven't heard anybody discussing the background of the video where Rafe is.
Okay,
so looking at the image, right, he's obviously in a set somewhere. I don't know if you want a second to pull it up or not.
Yeah, Taylor's going to try to pull that up here shortly. Yeah, so yeah, we have a still here behind Rafe. Yeah, so go ahead and tell us your thoughts.
So I was thinking, is that perhaps Shinar or Faldara? It's kind of blurry, right? But it's obviously a multi-story building with some sort of a wall, right, with a railway of some sort. Could that be a set piece from Faldara, or I don't know. I couldn't think of anywhere else where he might be with a big background like that beyond a set piece. But thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's a great question of what are we seeing back there? They certainly blurred it out. I don't know. Yeah, Daniel, what are your thoughts on this one?
I honestly, to me, it looks maybe just like a sound studio. I can't see that being a Wheel of Time. It looks too modern to me to be anything aside from just
Think so?
Hollywood set studio. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure, but that's my best guess at this point.
Yeah,
okay.
maybe it's sound studio for the. I'm just having fun here for the ways. I'm just making something up. It's like I just want it to be the ways, so therefore that's what it is. It's the ways. It's the sound studio for the ways. People are saying it looks like a warehouse or the yellow railing, not very Watt.
Yeah, it might be something they could remove with green screen or something like that. That was my only thought on that. But no, still super excited to see all this content and love the conversation. So thanks,
yeah,
guys.
for sure. Yeah, hey, thank you so much. It was awesome. And by the way, Sarah is in chat and she said it's not a set piece. So
okay,
we do know that. Although she didn't say it's not a sound studio for the ways.
Loki looks like a ship.
I mean,
Did they put Rafe on a ship?
Maybe that fits in that definition too. Hey, thank you so much for calling in. Appreciate you being a first time caller and that you've been enjoying the show. Hey man, we'll talk to you soon. Okay.
Great.
Yep,
thank
bye-bye.
you. All right. Bye.
Daniel, to you, any thoughts? You've been watching social media here. I can see you kind of like engaging over there. Like, what have you seen? What's your kind of takeaway here now that you've had a kind of an hour to sit on what they've released and what you've seen from fans?
I've seen if you give fans a string, they will somehow knit a sweater. It is very impressive to see people go and draw these conclusions that I would not on my own, but they're not necessarily wrong. A lot of stuff that's interesting. I've seen a couple people comparing the cover of Crown of Swords to what we're seeing of potentially not confirmed, but it's definitely Shudder Logoth. I'm very glad they didn't go with the cover of Crown of Swords because the architecture there is bulbous. It's not dome, it's bulbous. So I think they made the good call. I think people are excited. I'm very excited. I'm going to rewatch it 400 more times. I'm trying to do like 8 things right now.
Right.
Keeping,
I know.
What's Twitter saying? What's Matt saying? All right.
Yeah, this is the fun. Hopefully people are enjoying kind of doing this live. It's right in the moment of, it's a lot of fun to kind of just consume this together. Seeing it was so interesting because what they released this time, from a kind of a depth perspective was, deeper than what we've gotten recently. And so I think the first 3 or 5 minutes of the show was just all of us just really quietly staring at images. It's like, I need some time to consume what I'm seeing here. By the way, for those of you who are watching, this is Collin with the Randland TV podcast here below. Daniel Greene, Mr. Goblin, Fantasy News himself here. We've been having lots of fun talking all about the release of the Wheel of Time on Amazon Prime News today. If you didn't check it out, go follow their social media. Let's play, actually, Taylor, I said we're going to do this. We have 3 more callers. We'll bring them in here shortly. Thank you very much for waiting. Let's play the clip one more time here, and Taylor will give that for us. This is a lot of fun. If you didn't see it initially and you've been kind of watching this here, we don't have it on the screen here, Taylor. Taylor's playing it, but we'll rewind it here in just a second. Gotcha. Oh, so here we go.
What's special about the Eye of the World is the themes of balance, of gender, and the emotional journey of these characters. As a fan of the books, I feel so lucky we get to bring this world to life.
Yeah, good stuff. Oh, man. This one was a little bit more, I think, more kind of chills about just we're almost there. We're almost to the end of this kind of road, and we've almost gotten there. Let's bring our next caller into the show here and see what they have to say. Hey, welcome to the Dusty Wheel. How you doing today?
Great Innkeeper, I raise my glass to you, Daniel.
Norm, fantastic to hear from you, sir.
I'm technically at work right now, so.
Sorry, Lancer. Thank you very much for calling in.
This is how dedicated I am to your show, you guys. That and I'm playing hooky for about 5 minutes to chat with you guys.
I love it. I love it. So, what do you got to say? What do you like about what you saw today?
Oh, I'm giddy. I am truly giddy that we got these images and stuff. But I hate to be Debbie Downer. I noticed that we don't have Camelin. So I don't know if Camelin's supposed to be a big reveal for us later on in the world, or if it's going to be one of those just hard cuts that they had to make. So I'm happy and I'm scared at the same time.
Yeah, so that's okay. That's a good question. We haven't seen Tracons be cast. We haven't seen any images. We didn't get any concept art from Camelin here. How do you feel about that, Daniel? If that does signify that they're cutting it for first season, how do you feel about that cut?
I have no idea, but I do know if you're shooting Camelin and getting concept art for that, it's probably one of the most challenging cities to do. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's just one they're not ready to present yet.
Sure.
Because it's unlike Charter Logoth where it's empty streets and just like, or like a small town celebrating. It needs to be a packed, multicultural, beautiful spectacle. So I can't speculate on whether or not that's just ready or they're not having it in season 1. But yeah, I can't wait. Collin, how do you feel? What's your theory about?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it's something that the community has been kind of wondering about because they've been very tight-lipped about that anything having to do with the path that Camelin might, send the showdown. We don't know anything about the trends. We haven't seen any concept art, anything like that. I don't know. I think there is some credence to the argument that we may not see it in this first season. And I think that's okay. I really do trust the team to find a way to make these things work out in terms of the overall plot arcs of the show. Yeah, I'm okay with it, actually.
I'm going to cut across like this idea now because I've been so long without us getting information about like, okay, maybe Camelin's gone. So I'm going to say they're just setting us all up to believe it's gone. We're just being set up in this moment to believe it's gone. And then they're going to bring in the show
all over again.
Yeah, and then we're going to get something, and we're going to just love whatever we do get from Camelin, right? It's like this is like the perfect way to kind of lead us down that rope and be like, yes, we got some Camelin, and I'm so excited, more excited than I ever would have been because I thought we had it in the first place. So that's my new theory. that's my theory. Hey Norm, thank you so much for taking a moment during your workday. This is my extended lunch break also. So hope you enjoyed what you saw from Real Time Amazon Prime. I can't wait to see what fans have said all this time. And man, we'll talk to you soon, okay?
Hey, Ty Shar to all of you. So
you too.
Take care.
You too. Bye-bye. By the way, Sarah just wrote in chat here, just lots of emojis with zip for, zipper for a face. And I'm assuming that she's replying in part to what I just said. I love it. So we have 2 more callers here. Let's bring them in, and I want to show that off. Get kind of your final thoughts here. I know I saw a lot of people kind of anxious to see if maybe Juan Prime would call in. That was just like a fun, call me maybe reference. I wasn't actually expecting them to call, but I'm not going to not take their call if they decide to call in. So here we go. Let's bring our last 2 callers into the show and see what they have to say. Hey, welcome to the Dusty Wheel. How you doing today?
I'm good. It's Carolina. It's been a while.
Carolina, hey, it has been a while. Thank you so much for calling back in.
Yeah, I'm glad that you guys did this at a time of day that I can handle. It's fabulous.
Yeah. I love that we can get more kind of international, fans in and not have to have a show at 3:00 in the morning for them. So yeah, I love this. So
yeah, I have stayed up for my fair share of those, but yeah, I wanted to say congrats to Daniel on his new book. I'm super excited for that, and also Collin, I love your podcast.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, why not? I have a really annoying question, so you're welcome in advance.
Let's hear it.
Is there anything you guys have been disappointed by that you've seen so far, and have you changed your mind now?
So this one goes to Daniel first.
It's always got to be on my shoulders first. I still want to see Shadow Spawn. I'm getting kind of like, give me Shadow Spawn, something dark related, even a foot. Give me a hoof. I don't care. That's been a little like, come on. The only thing I'm so far disappointed, I like Tom's guitar. I get the decision of giving him a guitar. It's less, I'm thinking harp would probably look goofy. I get 100% how that might look weird. But it does, there's an elegance to Tom playing the harp where I'm like, oh, I hope that, I question whether they'll be able to keep the elegance, but I will put it up to the actor to make me believe that Tom plays that guitar elegantly. But yeah, I get the decision, but there's a part of me that's like, hey, at least throw a harp in the background. Have him break one on accident or something.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, that's a good answer. Collin, what are your thoughts here? Anything that's kind of disappointed you?
That's actually a really tough question. I don't know. I don't know that anything's actually disappointed me. No, I think I try to keep a pretty open mind in terms of what's possible. But yeah, I can't say that necessarily anything is disappointing me. Although I do like, Daniel, I like your point of not seeing Shadow Spawn. I want confirmation of how deep the show is going to go into the darker aspects. I'm really actually concerned about that. Not concerned in a bad way, but curious about that. So I would like to see some of that.
Very good point. And actually, this view of Shadar Logoth we got just gave me hope because it looks horrifying. And that's right. Shadar Logoth used to give me a nightmare. I need to be terrified by it. And that gives me hope that'll continue. The horror elements will continue into the Shadow Spawn and such. And I see Sarah in chat saying like, hey, that's a big asset. I get it. That's why I said a hoof. You can give me a hoof. You can give me a hoof. I'm fine with it.
I love it.
Give me a Trolloc sword. Anything. I'm good.
A hoof. Can you imagine? That'd be awesome if they just dropped an image of a hoof and be like, I hope you, yeah. There's much more to come. Much more to come. Okay, and this is the fun part about hosting a show. So I get to say stuff like this. Carolina, so for you, what's been your biggest disappointment? I get to go last. That's the fun part.
She just left. She decided to
Did we lose? We lost Carolina. Damn it! She pulled that one on me. Shoot, I was like depending on that. So Carolina, we lost you. I'm not sure if on purpose, but whatever. It worked out perfectly because now I'm forced to answer that question and not delay it any longer. So sorry we lost you. I see you in chat. So if you have an answer for this question, which is, is there anything that's disappointed you? Let me know. So. As far as disappointing me, I will say that I think I have Padan Fain, so I'm not disappointed yet. I don't know if we have Land Fear, so I'm not disappointed yet. And those are kind of the two keys for me is Land Fear and Padan Fain. So we have Shadar Logoth, we have Padan Fain, and we may have Land Fear sometime in the future. So my disappointment will probably come when they start making some choices on the Forsaken and what they do with them and how they present them, and what we get with actually with Varen and those kind of characters. So nothing yet because this first part of the story isn't as important to me as what happens in the Great Hunt. So that's where I feel like I'm going to potentially be disappointed in ways that I'll just have to, deal with as a fan.
Yeah.
So,
Stubble McShave just made a really good point where it's casting an actor who can play a harp. You have like 5 options. Casting an actor who can play guitar, you have like 50,000.
Yeah.
So that is probably a very good thing where now they can have him possibly really play guitar on the show, which is always something that's beautiful if they can do.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and someone's pointed out a really important point in chat, which is Daniel has a hoof fetish. That's apparently thank you very much for pointing that out to the fan. Really like Rhea, Kelly.
I can't get through one of these live streams with you, Matt, without having something follow me for a year.
You're welcome.
To come.
You're welcome. Daniel, the Goblin King has a hoof fetish. That's not totally outside of the realm of like expectations. Is all I'm saying. So.
I think you made a good point, though. I think you made a good point about kind of setting up expectations. I think it's easier kind of before the show begins to say, hey, they'll probably change this, they'll probably change this, but it's hard to kind of project what those ramifications are going to be down the line.
Yeah.
And we're inevitably going to find some disappointment in something they had to pull from the plot or change. I think that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be the interesting things for me. I think I've said this many times, which is I really want to see how the actors embody their characters. And so I think after the show comes out, that's when it'll be a tougher, thing of like, oh man, I wish this had been done better or whatever. But right now I've loved everything I've seen so far. So I can't complain too much. Like the guitar thing wasn't as meaningful to me as it was to some fans. Because Tom, I'll be honest, not as meaningful to me as some of the other characters in the show. So I like Tom, don't get me wrong, but just he's not on my list of like, oh my gosh, if they had cut Tom, I would have hated them actually, so that's right. If you want to do hashtag, Innkeeper says you can cut Tom, that's fine, whatever.
Well, for me, there's a big thing. It's not about does the actor embody the character the way I saw it. It's does the actor embody the character in a way where I can see they're still getting the soul of the character. Because before the Lord of the Rings movies came out, no one pictured Gollum how Gollum is. But Andy Serkis is Gollum. It's just a matter of do they still get it in a way that's going to become synonymous with the spirit, with the heart of what was already there. And that's going to be the real judge. I've already let go of my visions of all the characters, right? Like, you can't bring that over. You're not going to be satisfied if you do that, because no one's going to be the Matt that's in your head. Although for me personally, it's just you, Matt, with a hat.
Oh, that's your Matt. That's excellent. I need to get a hat and a chandelier. Yeah, if that's how you pronounce it. Yeah. Somebody put hashtag cancel Innkeeper for hating Tom. That's not how you say it? Shut up.
No, not even a little.
Look, that's not what I've actually practiced to do live. Okay. Like, literally, that's what happens. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to say this word. I need to go look it up because people are going to make fun of me. So that is the next one I have to learn, apparently. Oh, man. Let's bring in our caller. They've been waiting a while here. Let's bring them into the show and see what they have to say. Welcome to the Dusty Wheel. How you doing?
Hey, Matt, it's Todd.
Todd, hey, man. It's awesome to hear your voice. Love having you on the show. You've been waiting a long time, man. So what's your reaction to what you saw today?
Well, I've watched it like 20 times, okay? And the more I watched it, the more I thought, man, you and Brian were so wrong about what you thought this was going to be. And
Thank you. Thank you very much for pointing that out. Yes, this is an impossible thing to be right about. I did offer I would send something fun to people that guessed it right. I don't think anyone guessed this one right. So I love that they tweaked, that they did not meet our expectations on this. It wasn't, just another teaser trailer in the sense of what we had already seen. I like them mixing it up, and this was a lot of fun.
Yes, it's really good, and I love Shatter Logoth. I like the wagons in the circle. They're not like overdone. They look really nice. I'm really happy with the way they look. I think that's going to be pretty cool if they keep them kind of tinkerish but downplayed. I don't know how any other way to say it.
Yeah, I like that idea a lot. Yeah, and again, it's concept art, so whether or not these these colors come out as this. But again, there's a lot being said here, which is we know we have the Tinkers, we get Beltane, Shatter Logoth, the Quarry Road, if you will. Maybe that's the connection here. So yeah, we've thrown up some of these images. Hopefully people that are watching this are enjoying kind of seeing those again. I figure we'll be seeing these all over the internet for weeks to come, and begging for more concept art. That's gonna be the next thing, right? Everyone's gonna be adding Watt on Prime. Like, can you give us concept art for this? I want to see concept art of this thing. That's what's coming next, Todd. So last moment, Todd. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead. What were you saying?
Well, no, I was going to say, do you think where the two of them are standing looking down in the valley, do you think that's possibly when they're hiding in the mountains of mist? Something to do with that? Because there's no road there; it's a pathway.
That's true. That's true. It absolutely could be. The question is, how much kind of build up are they going to do before we get to Beltane? I think.
Right.
I guess it's interesting because they did choose just both of those, having those two individuals there. And so it's hard to know what they're suggesting or not with that. So yeah. What's your thought? Do you think that this is later on, or do you think this is kind of a build up over by the mountains of mist?
I got a feeling this is later on because I don't, when they're walking, just Matt and Rand, they're on the road most of the time. Well, all the time. They pretty much follow the Camelin Road. And this kind of seems like it's off the beaten path to me.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I also want to point out I would not walk down that path. I am terrified of heights.
You're terrified of heights?
I'm with you. I wouldn't even stand that close to the edge, to be honest with you, but,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Todd, what's your favorite image of these that's going to end up on your phone as your kind of phone background?
The Shatter Logoth.
Yeah, it's definitely coming across as one of the favorites of fans. It's not surprising. Shatter Logoth is one of the biggest moments of the early part of that book, so it just makes sense that I'll be excited to see how they handle it. And one of the things that kind of diverges or immediately kind of changes the mood of the book in ways that are a lot of fun. Hopefully they have fun with that. So, hey, Todd, thank you very much for holding on line there for a while. Appreciate it, man. And we'll talk to you, I'm sure, soon back at the Dusty Wheel, man. Okay, bye.
Yep. Have a good one.
I have a question for the both of you, starting with Collin. If you could see a piece of concept art like this for any scene in book 1, what scene would you choose?
Oh man, yeah, that's a great question. Shit.
I mean, so I'll be honest. I would love. They've given me a piece of this. I would like more concept art from Shadow Logoth. Right? I would love. Here we go. Like maybe we can get some Shadow Spawn concept art in Shadow Logoth. With Master. So you can get your hoof there in the concept art in Shadow Logoth. Make that happen.
So what I would like to see is kind of that, but I want to see the Blight. I want to see concept art of them traveling to the Eye of the World.
I wouldn't have thought that's a really good choice.
That's what I want to see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe like when they kind of go by like Fallen Malkier, like something like that. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
I like that Matt's just like, I need more Shadow Logo.
That's right. Look,
give me more.
I don't have a lot of notes here in the Wheel of Time, but it's like Metaphysics, Farron, Lanfear, and other powers, and Shadow Logoth and Paddington. What about you?
So I would love to see a Trolloc foot. Just no. Of any scene, I would probably. Honestly, I just want to see the first time channeling a scene. I want to see the first instance where we, from the perspective of someone channeling, what they're envisioning, what they told artists to do to bring channeling to life, so that I can get an inkling of what it's going to look like for the show. So I don't know what they've written the first scene to be channeling being. It could line up with the book, it could not. But I just want to see the first instance of channeling more than anything.
What Daniel's telling you, Wadam Prime, is that he would like to see Shadow Spawn being destroyed by channeling in a concept art. That's what he's telling me.
And all that's left is their feet, just standing there.
Oh my gosh, that'd be so good. Just don't. I love that. I hope whoever does concept art somehow sees this or hears about this and just goes, I'm gonna draw just like a Trolloc being eviscerated by like a fireball and just leaving the hooves right there on the ground.
It's like one of those 80s sight gags, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we have 2 other callers. I'm gonna get final thoughts from our guests here, and then we'll let everyone go for the afternoon. Hopefully, you've all enjoyed this. If you're watching this for the first time, this is our live call-in talk show all about the Wheel of Time. We do this on a weekly basis. This is a lot of fun here at the Dusty Wheel. Please like this video so other fans can find it later on, and also subscribe if you haven't. We'll be back here doing these kind of live coverages when Wadam Prime give us a little nod or a little wink, if you will, to let us know something's coming. So we'll keep doing these live coverages. They're so much fun. Hopefully those of you that are in chat have had a lot of fun today. And let's take our final 2 callers. I apologize to anyone else who calls. These will be our last 2 for the day. Let's bring our next caller in. Welcome to the Dusty Wheel. How you doing today?
Hi, my name's Chris, first-time caller. I love what you guys do, all of you.
Fantastic.
That support the community.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate
I
the call.
wanted to bring up something. Oh, thank you. Something that Daniel brought up about the role-playing. I think the Wheel of Time could be a great, tabletop D&D style. I know they had one about 20 years ago, but I haven't seen anything like that since. I just think it would be a great addition to the whole world.
Daniel's holding. Yeah, go ahead and describe this, Daniel. What you got in your hands?
We have a role-playing game book for the Wheel of Time, and I'm telling you, you are right. We need an update. This is a good one. It's fun. It's adventurous. It's so not balanced. If you channel, you win, and if you don't channel, you die. So in terms of role-playing games, it needs a little bit of tweaking. So I'm with you 100%.
Oh man, that is one of the things that we really haven't gotten into yet from a fandom, which is the gaming aspect that could come from this. All the merchandise that might show up, right? The little Trollocs, and the baby Trollocs, right? Like, I don't know what you'd call them, not Grogu, but it'd be something similar to Grogu. I feel like it would be something similar. I feel like Grogu is an awesome Trolloc name, I'll be honest. Sarah just said in chat, I'm dying for a Watt D&D game vibe. Absolutely. I can't wait to see what they do with this. I'm usually not a huge fan, I'll be honest. Growing up, where like every movie that came out, then like McDonald's had some kind of thing that they gave away for that movie. I don't know, it just kind of soured me to the whole merchandising aspect of franchises. But I am so into it for the Wheel of Time. It's like, I want, but I think it's partially because we haven't had very much. So I'm like, I'm ready. I'm ready for some merchandising. Go ahead.
I'm on the other end of the spectrum. I've been putting aside money like every month, like this is my merch money. I'm saving. It's going to grow, and then I'm going to spend it all.
That's awesome. Yeah. Chris, what do you want to see them make merchandise out of? Before we let you go, what would you like to buy today if they could make something for you?
Heron Mark sword.
Okay, the Heron Mark sword is there. If it was actually like a stuffed animal, which stuffed animal would it be?
Stuffed animal.
If you had to pick a stuffed animal to a Wheel of Time stuffed animal, an Ogier. I love it. I love it. An Ogier stuffed animal. That note goes out to Wheel of Time Amazon Prime. The fans are ready to buy your Ogier stuffed animals.
I think I'd want an Eelfin and an Elfin, I think.
Oh, yeah. That is awesome.
Yeah.
I totally would. This is going to become a thing.
Is that the piece of merch you want, Collin, or is that if it was a stuffed animal?
If they were stuffed animals, that's what I would want, yeah.
Okay. What about like the piece of merch? What would be like your I must have it Wheel of Time merch?
You know what I really want? I really want the dragon banner. I really want like
a
huge banner I could put on my wall. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I love it. But I want to hear, though, before you go away from this question, Daniel, what's your stuffed animal going to be for the Wheel of Time?
Is it weird if I want a little stuffed Murdral? Just like a creepy little Chucky doll Murdral?
It's so cool. It's so good. It's good.
I'll just put it places that people open and it scares the crap out of them.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, all of the world is going to be full of stuffed Myrdral and Trollocs and Ogier. I can't wait. And I love the Elfin and Eelfin idea. That's fantastic. Hey, Chris, thank you very much for calling in. Really appreciate you being a viewer and a fan. This has been a lot of fun and will continue to be a lot of fun all in 2021. 2021, man, I can't believe it. We're actually getting the thing that we've talked about as fans for decades, which is a TV show. It's gonna be awesome. So thank you for calling in, man. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
Thank you.
Yep. Bye-bye.
By the way, the stuffed Murdral has a real sword. It has an actual sharp blade just to increase the nightmare.
I love it. Yes, the stuffed Myrdral they're accidentally made in some form or fashion that, it poisons kids. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Don't do that. I'm just kidding. That was a joke.
Oh, yeah, Matt. There's someone at Amazon like, great idea.
Don't use that idea. Don't do it. That's a terrible idea. Okay, let's bring our last caller into the show and get some final thoughts from everybody. Thank you all for being in chat. This has been a fantastic way to spend Friday afternoons. Hey, welcome to the Dusty Wheel. How you doing today? You might be on mute. There you go.
I'm Ariana, longtime listener.
Is it Rihanna?
Hello?
Or yeah? Can you hear us?
Oh, Ariana. Yeah,
Ariana.
I'm a longtime listener and a first-time caller. And I just wanted to thank you guys for all the plethora of Wheel of Time content during quarantine has really kept, I know, me and a lot of other fans sane. So I just wanted to thank you all three for all of that. And also, I'm a first-time reader because of Daniel's channel. I picked up The End of the World last month and just finished it the other day. So first time reading through the books. I was wondering if either of you guys will be doing a read-along as we approach the show's release. Do you guys think you'll be doing maybe a read-along for the first few books?
Daniel, do you want to take this call for this answer first?
Okay. So I don't do read-alongs because they scare me. Because I know I either will read too slow or too fast for people, and people will be mad. Because I am an insane reader. What I will be doing is re-reviews of every book. So I will let people know at the end of this month I will be reviewing this Wheel of Time book. So if you can read to that extent to line up with it, I think that'll probably go for what you're looking for.
Yeah, it's a great question. I haven't thought about doing.
Okay, perfect.
I haven't thought about doing review videos or anything. I'm kind of very topical with the Wheel of Time, so I love just for example, Collin was on a show that we did talking about the Aiel and the Fourth Age and that kind of thing. I love that kind of aspect. So maybe I'll take a look at the first book and kind of dive into some of the topics that we cover there. Like, for example, if you've ever read The Eye of the World, the end of The Eye of the World is a little bit confusing of everything that happens there. So maybe I'll do one of those videos. Nablus did a video just like that. It'd be fun to have him on to talk about that aspect of it. So I think I'll be doing stuff like that, just kind of live shows around certain topics from The Eye of the World for sure. A reread itself, A Wheel of Time on Amazon Prime tried to do a reread recently with fans, and it's just interesting. It just hasn't worked out as much. Like on Twitter, for example, is not like a great medium. It doesn't seem like to handle that. So I think there's tons of rereading or first time reading podcasts out there, and hopefully you're following those. I think there are some groups that are doing rereads actually on YouTube too. I think Leafcast might be doing a reread, so you should check them out potentially. So yeah, are you doing something like that, or are you plan to ever do something like that, Collin, with your podcast, or are you guys sticking to kind of show news and kind of show topics?
Yeah, I don't know that we would do necessarily a reread. We tend to kind of stick to like show news and topics with some kind of talking about like broader thematic themes of the series in general. But it is an interesting thing. I mean, the books are obviously highly rereadable, so it could happen in the future.
And you got to listen to Collin's podcast for his voice alone. I mean, good God.
Hold on. So a Rafe Judkins entered the chat, and I don't know if this is the Rafe Judkins. So welcome, Rafe, to the chat here. Ariana, you happen to be on the call when we're getting some from Rafe, and he just joined in. I'm not sure. I'm sure chat is going to fill Rafe with all sorts of questions here. But Ariana, thank you so much for calling in, for being a first-time caller, and for the comments you made about what we're doing. It's fun, right? This is a fun time to be a fan. There's certainly kind of a renovation, a renaissance, if you will, of what's happening in fandom right now. So I totally agree. It's been a blast just for the last 16 months that I've been doing the show. And I love what everyone here is doing on the show. And for everyone out there that's creating content, it's been so much fun. So, hey, Ariana, thank you so much for calling in and for being our last caller. I appreciate that. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
Thanks.
Yeah, thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye. So here we are at the very end of the show, and it would appear that Rafe might have jumped into chat with us. I want to ask both of you, kind of what are your final thoughts here, or as we kind of tie things up, about what we saw today and just what fans have said when they've called in. What do you sorry, Taylor's like over there signaling me. And certainly if Rafe wants to call in, you certainly can. Give us a call. Let us know. Give us a thumbs up if you'd like to. We can get you the phone number. Just let us know. But yeah, final thought, or it doesn't have to be final thoughts here, but just kind of as we close up shop, what are your thoughts, Daniel, as far as everything that's happened so far today?
I think it's a lot of fun. I love the conversation as always. More like than anything, this stuff just always makes me curious of where they're going to take things, how it's going to head and develop. Obviously, they're telling their art department some pretty accurate stuff just from the vibes we're getting. I mean, even just looking more at the clothing, it's not standard medieval show clothing. There's definite signs of more modern tinges, which to me, that's just Wheel of Time. So yeah, the more I'm looking at, the happier I am. There's definitely some digital artifacts when you zoom in. You're like, oh, okay, this is definitely concept art on a tablet. Yeah. But I'm also very eager and certain to see we're going to see fans recreating these in various ways, which I'm always down for. I mean, you give fans something like this, the art people are going to art, and I love that stuff as well. I don't know, this is always like a great little ignition, and I like to see what the fans do and take it to the full-on explosion of like, all right, you've given us an inch, now we're going to go for a mile.
Well, and Rafe's in chat here. Do you have a question for Rafe while he's kind of watching here? That you want to throw in chat. Obviously, if you can't just jump in, why don't you throw him a question here, and maybe he can answer it in chat.
The challenge is, can it be something you can actually answer, right? Because there's a thousand things I want to ask, but what can he actually answer? Okay, sorry, I didn't realize. So sorry, I didn't track all of the things. Taylor's telling me Rafe said he will answer one question that we have, and so what's our one question here? Sorry, I'm catching up here with everybody in chat here, and what's our one question for Rafe that he will answer between the three of us? Let's yeah. What is the one question we want?
Don't. And Rafe, I want to put this side note out to Rafe here. we're gonna be talking about a question, and then we'll tell you when we have the one question that it is. Okay, so yeah, there's no pressure here. What is their one question? It either came out of what we saw today, or just something that we would want to know from Rafe.
Right.
Collin's like,
oh man. There's so many questions. Feel free, you guys, if something comes to mind.
So I like the idea.
All the pressure to be squarely on you.
Because Rafe just said, "Okay, one question to rule them all." Yes,
right,
exactly.
Right?
I would say how. Oh, go ahead.
Go for it. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I would say how much the concept art ended up reflecting the final product. Like, what are some big changes they made? Like, percentage-wise, would he say this concept art is 80% there or 20? It was purely just a base foundation, and then they went completely different directions. Just to give us all a good idea of, is that how Shardar Logoth will look? Or no, it's going to be way more decrepit and in a whole other vein than what we're seeing here. That would be mine. Now that
I like this idea
minutes.
of like how much did the concept art come before? And instruct kind of what they did, or how much was it kind of after the effect, or a mix. So yeah, I like that. Collin, do you like that question? You want to throw that out there to him? Do we want to ask him this question?
Yeah, I'm comfortable with that actually. Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Like, how much can we rely upon these images?
So Rafe, our question is very broad, and I think there are 4 questions in the one question. And so let's, Daniel, do you want to phrase that question just like you did, kind of, so he can answer that? So go for it.
How accurately does this concept art reflect the final product, and what is the entire script? So just take it from there.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we'd love to. That there's a slight delay, so we'll hear what Rafe has to say in chat. This is a lot of fun. Thank you, Rafe, for jumping into chat here with us and giving us one question. He said few because I was already replying to that question. So good. We'll see what he has to say here. And as a second question,
when is the trailer now?
How creepy and excited will we be when we actually get into Shadar Logoth? But no, we'll see what he has to say for this first question. By the way, everyone in chat's here. We get to wait, and I feel like everyone's in chat with Rafe, and we're outside of chat. So his answer was, "This is actually really early concept art from the process. There's a couple of them that are very close to the final product." Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I would bet money I can spot 2 that are the closest.
Mm-hmm. I would agree.
So
I would say Winter's Night and Shardar Logoth are probably the ones that are going to be the closest.
Yeah,
as a follow-up to Rafe here in chat, you don't have to answer this obviously, but which of them is the closest? Sarah did not feel comfortable giving us that answer, but I have a feeling like you could feel that comfortable. So Rafe just said, but our concept team did some really cool stuff that didn't end up coming in until later to the show. So that's interesting. Okay. So yeah. And he said, and then things we diverted from a little bit here. Which 2?
And he said, "You're a route right one, Daniel." So that's good. One of them's correct. We know I'm on party with one.
So Daniel is...
Personally, I feel like it's Winter Night.
Probably. I feel like that's the one you have to plan out the most earliest on. So that's the one the concept artist would have the most to go off of. So that's probably the most. And plus, it kind of lines up with what we've seen from the Village and the other promos.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, I feel like we should have canceled out Winter's Night from that question. I should be like, and not Winter's Night. Don't answer that, because that one looks close to what we've already said. You're right about one, Daniel. Okay.
If I could put forward one more question that could or maybe not be answered by Rafe or Sarah. Just a general, will Shardar Logoth give me nightmares? Yeah. Just to see what the answer to that is, if they want to answer or not. It's totally okay. I just want to know if I'm going to be able to sleep that night.
I love Rafe just said, "I must be your nightmare right now." No, this is fantastic. This is absolutely fantastic that you're here in chat with us. Sarah and Rafe are in chat. Hopefully, fans that are here watching have gone and told other fans that this is happening. I know other fans would love to be here. I just don't have the time to send out all the other notes to everyone. So Rafe has said, after he said, "I must be your nightmare night," he said, "Also, fun Easter egg, first piece of concept art for the whole show."
Moraine using the one power.
Using the one power.
I mean,
Wow.
yeah, if you're gonna sell the show on something, that's it. Like right there, that is the show. Go.
Please drop it.
Exactly. This is fantastic. Oh, read Nightmares for Daniel. Sorry.
Nightmares. Oh, good. That means Charlotte Logoth will be nightmares. Good. I'm very happy.
There you go. Thank you. That was an awesome question. I absolutely was not ready for asking a detailed question. So thank you, Daniel, for coming through and asking that. Nightmares for Daniel should be a hashtag. Nightmares for Daniel, please, everyone. Let's put that out there.
What has come out of this live stream? Fetishes.
No,
and
I love this.
Why?
I love this idea that it's gonna be Nightmares for Daniel, and then we're going to get the concept artist to create the hoofs and the fireball that's destroyed the whole Trolloc and left him there. I love that.
This live stream's a nightmare for me.
Wow. Rafe just added to this. If you happen to actually be watching us and not just watching chat at this moment, Rafe just said, we hired about 15 amazing artists from around the world to just dig in on that idea of Moiraine and the One Power. 15 amazing artists. Wow. That is awesome. And this goes back to that comment where I think where they just talked about how much time they spent trying to get the sword right. You know, how many meetings Rafe said that he was in just trying to get certain things right. Or maybe he talked about it was Egwene's dagger, I think, at that point. So yeah, the amount of time and care that it sounds like they're putting into getting these things right are awesome. Rafe also said, and then see what it looked like, and did that for a fair amount of things. So like I said, he said, we hired about 15 amazing artists from around the world to just dig in on that idea of Moiraine and the One Power, and then see what it looked like, and did that for a fair amount of things. So yeah. Sorry, were you going to say something, Daniel?
I was just going to add, well, that's the first poster for the show then, right? It has to be Moiraine. That's got to be, if it was what they sold the show on, it's just my speculation. That'll be the first official poster is Moiraine blowing people up, probably redone with Rosamund Pike's face. Pure speculation.
Rafe just said he has to go, but he said, thank you for doing the show. You'd be surprised how many cast members and crew members watch. That is amazing to hear, honestly. Yeah, that's awesome. So thank you so much to all the cast members and crew members and Rafe and Sarah for being here. This was, what do I say about this? This is an awesome way to end the week. What a Watt Friday moment for everyone here. Hopefully people got in here and had a moment to be there with Rafe and kind of, I saw all the questions. Chat was just like flying. Like, it's like when I watch a live stream that Daniel does, like, I don't know how Daniel, you catch anything that's going on in your live streams. Yes, hashtag hoofs for Daniel, please. And thank you so much, Rafe. This was an amazing way to end this moment for, I think, for all of us here in chat. This was just awesome. And Sarah, as always, thank you for being in the chat and just answering questions and doing this. Geeky Area just said Matt's brain is breaking right now. Yes, my brain is breaking right now. I really don't know what to say. I'm just kind of stumbling and saying stuff. So I think what I will do is we'll have Taylor end this by showing the video one more time. I think Taylor's over there like, seriously, you have to go do this. If you happen to be here and you enjoyed this, please like this video. And please subscribe here. We're going to be doing this live show, like I said, all the way up to the premiere. It's going to be a lot of fun. And thank you very much, Daniel and Collin. I'll say that one more time after we show what we got from Amazon Prime today, what was released. Let me remind you and show this video if you happen to be here and haven't seen it yet. Go ahead, Taylor.
What's special about The Eye of the World is the themes of balance, of gender, and the emotional journey of these characters. As a fan of the books, I feel so lucky we get to bring this world to life.
I want to point this last part out. He did note this, and Daniel noted this, the emotional journey of the characters is also the thing that he narrowed that in. And I can't wait. I think that is what I'm looking for most, is just getting into the characters' heads and their adventure and being part of that with them. I really hope they've done that well. It sounds like they have. It sounds like that's the part he's most excited about, is telling each of their individual stories. And that's fantastic. So any final thoughts? I don't know how do you encapsulate that, what would just happen over the last hour and a half, but any final thoughts, Collin, that you want to leave before we end for the afternoon?
I don't think so, man. I think we've covered quite a bit.
Yeah.
I will say that just to actually kind of reiterate what I said before, just Rafe hopping on this chat with us is kind of indicative of the kind of amazing camaraderie and kind of understanding between the fandom and the creators of the show, which I really appreciate. I don't know what other shows or fandoms get to experience something like that, but that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a great final thought, actually. Daniel, any final thoughts for you?
He has a lot to say, but for me, I compare how much we're getting early on, as Collin's pointing out, compared to other shows that are in similar development process. Like they have nothing, and we're sitting here with like the showrunner jumping into a random Wheel of Time live stream, being like, "Here's some questions answered. Have fun." It's amazing. It's a level of engagement I think is genuinely unprecedented. I'm wondering how much, if this show's a huge success, how much people will attribute that to this, and like whether or not that'll be a new norm. I'm always thinking about the business, bigger side of things, but I'm very excited. I can't wait for the next drop. And I genuinely, like, because this happened today, the whole day I've been like, it's Wednesday. Just like from the start.
It does. It feels like a lot Wednesday. Yeah, I don't think I can say anything else other than what you two have said. Thank you again, Sarah, for being here and answering questions and just enjoying this moment. I'm sure for you, this is completely crazy experience, just what Sarah does from a consultant standpoint, and then actually seeing what fans that she knows and just fans in general, and being a fan, what this is like to actually show something that they've worked on. So yeah, thank you very much, Rafe and Sarah, for doing this today. I'll be honest, I moved one final meeting an extra half an hour because I was like, what if it goes a little bit long? And I'm so glad I did, because I would have had to have ended this about 10 minutes ago and missed Rafe's joining us. So glad I did that. Whew. Awesome afternoon. Thank you very much to Wheel of Time and Amazon Prime. Social media, you guys are killing it. Please keep doing that. That's fantastic. People are loving it. If you haven't liked this video, please do. Again, we appreciate you having here. And if you want, you can always jump into an after show in Discord. You can find the link in the description below. Make sure you go follow Randland TV Podcast. Collin and his crew, they do a lot of, they're a lot of fun, and they talk about the Wheel of Time show itself. It's a blast. So go check out their podcast. And of course, you all know Daniel Greene. I don't need to tell you to go follow him, but if you're not, definitely go follow Daniel Greene on YouTube. He does an amazing job with fantasy news and Wheel of Time, obviously. So thank you, everyone who showed up today. This was amazing. I don't even have words for it. As you can tell, my brain is a little bit, I'm just trying to catch up on what just happened over the last little bit, but this was so much fun. So have a fantastic, Rafe is still in chat. But have a fantastic afternoon. Hope everyone enjoyed this. Be on the lookout and be back here for our next live Wheel of Time call-in show on Wednesday. Thank you, everybody. Have a good afternoon. And as we say around here at the Dusty Wheel, smash to black.
If you want news and rumors that appeal, welcome to the Dusty Wheel.
Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel.
If you want news and rumors